Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another horror movie night. Tonight, I will be reviewing The Hills Have Eyes, released in 1977. Written and directed by Wes Craven, starring Martin Speer, Susan Lanier, Robert Houston, Virginia Vincent, Dee Wallace, Russ Grieve, Cordy Clark, Janus Blythe, Michael Barryman, James Whitworth, Lance Gordon, Peter Locke, and John Steadman. Now, this followed after The Last House on the Left for Wes Craven, in which he collaborated with Sean Cunningham. Now, for this film, though, he had a little bit better budget than what he had with Last House on the Left, but a lot of the actors in this are still very amateur and rough around the edges, especially with your main male characters of Martin Speer's Doug and Robert Houston's Bobby. Those characters, if they would have been played by better actors, I think would have been more interesting characters in this film. The characters are well written, but I don't think these actors had the acting chops to actually give them enough of the depth that they needed as characters. The cast members in this that have the biggest claim to fame is, of course, Dee Wallace, as she would end up going on to play in E.T., The Howling, and Cujo, among other things. Michael Barryman would end up, unfortunately, be kind of typecast in this kind of a role where he's basically playing these weirdo characters throughout his career, thanks to this film. And Susan Lanier, prior to this film, she had played in the second pilot for Three's Company alongside Joyce DeWitt and John Ritter as Chrissy Snow. So this was before Suzanne Summers was brought in to play the role. In that pilot, she actually was Chrissy Snow. And she's probably one of the better actors in this, other than Dee Wallace. They really stand out as the better performances in this film. They are, you can tell that they have experience as actors. Some of these others are really amateurish in their portrayals, unfortunately. Now, for the parents in this film, it's kind of the same thing. Virginia Vincent and Russ Grieve are kind of... You can see where they're trying to come from as characters, but the actors don't have the acting chops to actually pull it off in a way that makes it fully convincing and believable. And that's unfortunate because you have a lot of really good stuff that is written here from Wes Craven that, had the right actors been in those roles, they might have really shined as characters. As I said before, the two standout performances in this film are Susan Lanier and Dee Wallace. And unfortunately, Dee Wallace is dispatched from this film probably by the 50-minute mark. And then the main actress that you're following in this film is, of course, Susan Lanier. Wes Craven does a really good job of building suspense and making some really interesting, intense moments in this film. And for that, you don't really need a, really great actor in some of these sequences. So it's okay in some spots, but in those spots where you're wanting, to establish characters and everything, it's kind of odd to have some of these really amateur actors in here that don't really give the best of performances in this film. And the family characters around Michael Barryman's character of Pluto are basically the same. I mean, throw any of the ones other than him together and you'd get confused on which one is which out of these, even though they all have different names, Mars and Papa Jupiter and, and all this, but they all meld together and just feel like the same character with these bad teeth and weird looks, that they have. But Michael Barryman is probably the one that stands out the most amongst him, and that's why most of the time, whenever you saw any promotional material for this film, they put him front and center, even though some of the other weirder characters take the spotlight from him in this film. He's not the main guy. But overall, I think this was Wes Craven's really good transition from Last House on the Left and good segue into him eventually doing Nightmare on Elm Street. So, my final review of The Hills Have Eyes, released in 1977, I am going to give this film a 8.5 out of 10. It has a really great story in here. It just needed better actors in there to push it forward. Had it had better actors in this film, it probably would have been a 10 out of 10 because the story and everything in this is very well done. And it's well directed by Wes Craven. But have you seen this film? And if you have, what do you think? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area on the channel right now where you can request a movie, TV series, or ranking video of your choosing. And whenever I do that video on the channel, it will go up for all Plus members to view prior to it becoming available for the general public. So if you want to become interactive, now is your chance.
Well, that's it for another horror movie night. If you missed last week's horror movie night video, you can check it out in the link above. Or if you have missed any of our videos on horror movie night, check out this playlist and you can check out anything that you've missed.